Can Chelsea Football Club win the Premier League this season is the question on everyone's lips this current time of year. And after Cole Palmer's performances week after week after week after week after week, it becomes a question that holds some validity. Tempers have been flaring between Chelsea fans and supposed Chelsea fans, with the latter getting the screen time. The tension around the fan base appears to be growing more and more. And in recent seasons, it's typically been those that have been labelled the toxic positivity group, in which they were the ones getting the flack. But now, given our recent run of form, the vast majority, or so it seems, appear to be giving it to the seemingly unwarranted negativity merchants. You know the ones. Rory Jennings has taken the centre stage once again to be our spokesperson for Chelsea Football Club and all things Chelsea, and to a rather frosty reception, it must be said, and rightly so, But with all this negativity, or as he likes to call it, keeping the optimism at Stamford Bridge in check, because how dare we as Chelsea fans, how dare we have some joy running through these veins off the back of yet another stellar performance from players such as Cole Palmer, giving life to the club once more, revitalising a downtrodden Chelsea side. Both himself, being Cole Palmer, not Rory Jennings, but himself and Maresca appear to be getting the best out of the rest of the players. Every single one of the players seemingly has a confidence boost like we've never seen before since this new team has been sort of founded. But with our recent run, can Chelsea legitimately challenge? And at what point do we become true contenders? Because at the moment, admittedly, besides our opener, Chelsea have played a somewhat simple run in hindsight. But, not to sound like Rory Jennings after all, beforehand we had the usual, how many points do we get out of this? With many people, including myself, predicting a loss here, a draw here, etc., etc. So a part of me can understand. Not really, but I'm trying to justify, play devil's advocate. Not that he needs it. He's the devil himself. But you look at those games now and how we've dismantled those teams and what we've done, and you think, sure, it's an easy run now. But beforehand, like I said, you look at those games and you think, how many points are we actually legitimately going to get out of this because of what we were like last season? Can we not brush past the fact that of the opponents we've faced so far this season, we've only registered 4 wins out of a possible 12 last season when we faced these 6 teams. So we've matched that already with 4 wins. We also lost to Wolves at home and away last season, and sure, they may be bottom of the season right now, bottom of the table as of right now. But what are we supposed to do? Apologise like Cole Palmer with his, he's a penalty merchant. Do you want him to fucking miss, do you? Do you want him to miss? Are we supposed to apologise for turning things around and beating them for the first time since 2019 away from home? I don't think so. No. It's a sign of progress, Rory. Jeez. Not just, Wolves are shite, so it doesn't really count. We've been shite. But not at the moment. Now, as we've all seen by now, Opta put out a graphic showing that we are, we're currently on course to finishing 4th. A sight for sore eyes, that's for sure. But with the rate that we're going, the rate that we're showcasing on a weekly basis as of right now, with the form that we're currently giving off, what's to say that we can't finish higher? Well, the real test starts soon, really soon, in fact. Forest up next. It's the final fixture in our piss easy start to the season, and then the real work starts, the real work starts. There's some pros and cons for sure. A con is that we have Liverpool, Newcastle, Manchester United and Arsenal back to back to back to back. But with that said, I would argue that a pro to this run of games is Europe. European games dotted in between these games. Sure, people might scream, congestion! It's too many games! It's congestion! It's too congested and their injuries are going to be rampant. It's a worry. It is a worry. But don't fret, for we have depth these days. I know, again, Rory argued that we don't have much depth, but then also quite quickly after that argued that we do in fact have depth, albeit not necessarily in defence, even though I would argue that's probably one of the places that we have the most depth. But I digress. That said, 6 games in 3 weeks, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But like we said earlier, it's a test to see our resilience, a test to see where we truly are. If we come out of these games with some big boy wins and some hard-fought results, we will have a fairly decisive answer to whether or not we can indeed challenge, whether that be top 4 or, thinking a little bit too much more than that, maybe even the league. After that run, we have Leicester, Heidenheim, Villa and Southampton leading into the festive period before facing Spurs away from home. In and amongst some more European games, we have Brentford, Everton, Fulham and finally Ipswich before the turn of the new year. So what I'm saying to you is this. If we can get through this upcoming run of fixtures and register, let's be fair here, a win against Liverpool is the most elusive of all of these, I would say. And I know you're thinking, well, we've still got Arsenal at the same time here, so maybe Liverpool isn't the hardest one. Realistically, coming into this scenario, or into this, we having not registered a win at Anfield since 2021, it's best case scenario to predict a draw at most in this case. And I know you're thinking, well, you can't be thinking we're going to win the fucking league, but you don't think we're going to beat Liverpool. It's going to take stuff like that, no doubt. It's going to absolutely take winning against Liverpool at Anfield for the first time in years. Winning against United for the first time in years, other than the most recent one, but you get what I'm saying. After that, against Liverpool, we've got Newcastle, and we've not lost to them at Stamford Bridge since 2012. Again, that might be the complete opposite. Yeah, we're going to fuck that up the wall, aren't we? But no, we haven't lost to them at Stamford Bridge in the league since 2012. Again, home form, not our specialty, but a win would be what I would predict coming into this in foresight. It's tight, but right now I think we're in better form. I think we're only 2 or 3 points ahead of them at the moment. But I think we're in better form. Up next would be United, much the same. A win is hard to come by over the last few years, with just one being the most recent fixture, of course, 4-3, Cole Palmer doing the bits. But last was back in 2017. Jesus. That said, they are fairly abysmal right now, so I'm going to go with a win with that game. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I really am. And lastly, Arsenal, arguably the trickiest of the 4. I know I said that about Liverpool, but either ends, definitely the harder of the 4. At home, again, I'd have probably preferred this to be away. Much would, as would everyone else. But that said, we haven't won at home against them in the league since 2018. Will that change this time around? It's incredibly unlikely. But should we do it, should we win against Arsenal to cap off these 4 games, it would only strengthen our claim to a potential challenge of the title. That said, I can't predict more than a draw, and I think it's most likely that we'll lose one of these 4 games. So it's an L on this one. I hate to say it. I just of the 4, I don't think we're going to win all 4. I don't think we're going to go unbeaten in all 4. So if I had to pick one that I think we would probably lose, it's probably this one. It pains me to say. It pains me to say. Out of those that I've predicted and what I said, that would be 7 points of a possible 12. I think many people would be pleased with that. And then heading into Christmas would be a welcome sight for at least, at the very least, our pursuit of top 4. For me, though, if we can register these results and maybe, just maybe, even get something big against Arsenal, we surely are talking a title charge.